Recently, I made a video going over the best Pokemon of every type, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. However, of course, since it was an opinionated video, a lot of you guys did also disagree with me, which is obviously fine, because that's what happens in an opinionated video. However, in today's video, I thought we'd flip that coin and take a look at the other side, and have a look at who is the worst Pokemon of every single type. Again, just like the last video, I won't be including legendaries, mythicals, or ultra beasts in this video, and also please note I'm only thinking about the final forms of every Pokemon. So a Pokemon such as Magikarp, yes, it is disgustingly terrible, but Gyarados is its final form, which is why it won't make an appearance on today's video. This is all my own opinion, of course, at the end of the day, and it is completely cool if you guys disagree with what I say in the video. Don't hesitate though to drop a comment down below about the video, and if you found it interesting or not. Don't forget to leave a like on this video too to show your support, and I'll be sure to bring out a new video very shortly. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date, and follow my Twitter to get updates about the channel. Both of those links can be found in the description down below. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you guys enjoy. Okay, so starting things off, we have the bug type, and just like the last video, I won't be spending loads and loads of time on each of these types, because there's quite a few to get through. Anyway, bug type. I think the worst bug type Pokemon in the history of Pokemon is Beautifly. It's got awful defenses, it's not the fastest Pokemon out there, it's got an awful speed stat, and its special attack is okay, it's 100, but, you know, the rest of it really lets it down. It's weak to fire, electric, ice, rock by 4, and flying, whereas it only resists bug, grass, fighting, and is immune to ground. It's bug and flying as well, which just doesn't help out. And like I say, it doesn't really learn any level up moves, and it's just not as good as Dustox, and, you know, all the lower level bug Pokemon aren't usually great, but Beautifly really doesn't, you know, have anything to shine about, which is why I believe Beautifly is the worst bug type Pokemon. Next up, we have the dark type Pokemon, and this was quite a difficult one for me because there are quite a few pretty good dark type Pokemon. However, I did end up going for Mightyena. Now, a lot of you guys will probably disagree with me on this because it does get Moxie and stuff like this, but it does completely get outclassed by Pokemon such as Absol, you know, and stuff like that. Mightyena, it's not the fastest Pokemon out there with only a 70 speed stat total. It has a 60 in special attack and special defense, which obviously is not what it's going to be using loads. 90 physical attack. It's kind of got decent stats across the board, but they're not really as good as other Pokemon. It doesn't get a Mega Evolution. Like I say, it does get Intimidate, it gets Moxie, which are both very nice abilities. But at the end of the day, for itself, it can't really do anything. And I really do like Mightyena, and like I say, it gets quite a nice move pool. It just does get outclassed by better Dark-type Pokemon, which is why I believe Mightyena is the worst Dark-type Pokemon. Next up, we have the Dragon type, and for me, this was a coin toss between Druddigon and Turtonator. Now, they are both very slow Pokemon. Druddigon has a speed stat total of 48, whereas Turtonator has a speed stat total of 36. However, the only real difference is that Turtonator is part Fire and Dragon, whereas Druddigon is only Dragon. So Druddigon obviously is weak to all the normal weaknesses to Dragon, such as Fairy, Ice, and Dragon, obviously, whereas Turtonator is weak to Ground, Rock, and Dragon because of that fire typing. It isn't no longer weak to Ice and Fury. The other difference is that Druddigon has a very nice physical attack stat. It also gets Rough Skin, Sheer Force, or Mold Breaker's abilities, whereas Turtonator just gets Shell Armor. Now, Turtonator is a very bulky type Pokemon, plus it can't get crit because of Shell Armor, whereas Druddigon is very slow, but it hits hard with that 120 physical attack. So for this, I generally don't know. They both have pros and cons. I think Turtonator is a little bit worse than Druddigon just because it can't really hit very hard. It only has 78 physical attack and 91 special attack. It's very bulky, but it doesn't hit as hard as Druddigon, which is why I believe Turtonator is the worst Dragon-type Pokemon. Next up, we have the electric type Pokemon, and for me, the worst Pokemon of the electric typing is a pair, and that is Plusle and Minun. Now, these Pokemon are only really good in double battles, and that was kind of why they were created. Obviously, double battles were first introduced in the Hoenn region in Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire, where Minun and Plusle both make their debut, and I think these were kind of just thrown in there with moves like Helping Hand and stuff just to kind of like demonstrate the double battle thing because they don't really have anything going for them. 60 HP, 50 physical attack, 40 physical defense, 85 special attack, 75 special defense, and 95 speed, coming in at a stat total of 405. They are electric types, so they are only weak to ground, but they just don't really do anything. They're only really good in double battles, like I say. They don't really get any decent moves. They're not bulky at all. They get destroyed by ground types. Like the 40 physical defense is very bad, and a lot of ground type type moves are physical, like Earthquake and stuff like that, which just destroys these Pokemon. I love the designs of Magnet and Plusle, I absolutely do. There were some of my favorite Pokemon in like Ruby and Sapphire, but you know, they just don't help out at all. Like they're only good for double battles, which is why I believe Plusle and Minun come in as the worst electric type Pokemon. Coming up next, we have the fighting type Pokemon. For me, the worst fighting type Pokemon is Hitmonchan. Now, again, this is going to be thrown in the air like opinions. This is not the worst. It is the worst. Blah blah. And obviously, Hitmontop could have made this list, but obviously, Hitmontop is a very nice spinner. It also gets Intimidate, so it's very nice there. Whereas Iron Fist is a very nice ability for Hitmonchan. It just doesn't have the greatest physical defense. It's not the fastest Pokemon. It has a very bad HP stat of 50. It has a very nice physical attack stat of 105, 110 special defense, and it gets some very nice moves as well. But Hitmonchan for me just does get outclassed by all the other fighting type Pokemon, which is for me why it is the worst fighting type Pokemon in the competitive scene. Next up, we have the fire type Pokemon, and for me, the worst fire type Pokemon has to be Magcargo. Now, Magcargo is the worst because it's just the worst typing you can get. Fire and Rock is disgusting. It absolutely is disgusting. 4 times weak to water, which is one of the main typings you're going to see in the competitive scene. I mean, I think water has one of the biggest, you know, variety of Pokemon to have. So with that being a 4 times weakness to you is not great. You're also weak to fighting, ground, and rock. You do resist quite a few things, such as normal, fire, flying, bug, ice, poison, and fairy. It's just Magcargo is so slow with 30 speed. 120 physical defense is nice, 80 special defense, 50 physical attack, and 90 special attack. Doesn't hit very hard. Gets destroyed by water type moves. It's just not really anything going for it. I mean, its abilities as well, Flame Body, Magma Armor, and Weak Armor, I don't know, it's just not really going for it, which is why I do believe it just gets outclassed by so many of the fire type Pokemon, which is why it makes a spot in today's video. Coming up next, we have the flying type Pokemon, and for me, it is a male Combee. Now, male Combee is technically the final evolution because you cannot evolve a male Combee into a Vespiquen. Obviously, female Combee evolves into Vespiquen, but because this Pokemon is male, it does not evolve any further, which is why it is on this list. Now, male Combee is just tragic. It can't evolve. It has a stat total of 244, 30 HP, 30 physical attack, 42 physical defense, 30 special attack, 42 special defense, and 70 speed. Do I need to say any more? Well, I will. Weak to fire, electric, ice, flying, and 4 times to rock. It's only immune to ground. It is resisted by bug, grass, and fighting. I mean, yes, grass and fighting are both resisted by 4, but really, what has he got going for it? His abilities, whoa, heck, calm down, Combee, coming in with that Honey Gather. I don't know, that's going to shoot him up to OU. But you guys can understand why I put this Pokemon on this list. Like, male Combee is just tragic. And obviously, he could have made Bug as well, but I thought that, hey, you know, Beautifly wanted to make the list as well. But I'm pretty sure you cannot argue with this, guys, which is why Combee takes the #1 spot for the worst flying type Pokemon out of the competitive scene. Coming up next, we have the Ghost-type Pokemon, and for me, the worst Ghost-type Pokemon is actually Shedinja. Now, a lot of you guys are like, well, hang on, what about Focus Sash, what about all that? But think about it, guys, it only has 1 HP. You come in with a Pokemon like Tyranitar, or Hippowdon, or someone that creates weather that damages you, it's dead after, it's literally dead after a Pokemon gets switched in. You know what I mean? And yes, it has Focus Sash, but again, the sand's still there. So even if it does have the Focus Sash, I don't even know if Focus Sash protects you against weather. I generally don't know, but having a Pokemon literally just switch in, just being there, is enough to take out this Pokemon. Really doesn't make it too good, and plus 40 speed as well. Like, who are we trying to kid here? You know, yeah, it is immune to a lot of typings, but it's also weak to fire, flying, rock, ghost, and I mean, it doesn't even matter about the typings. Just literally switching in with a Pokemon that creates a sandstorm or a blizzard or something like that destroys this Pokemon, which is why, for me, Shedinja is the worst ghost-type Pokemon. Next up, we have the Grass-type Pokemon, and for me, it has to be Sunflora. You know, we have Sunkern, who is one of the worst Pokemon in general, stat-wise, so of course its evolution isn't going to be much better. Sunflora only has a stat total of 425, with 30 speed, 55 physical defense. You know, it has a very nice 105 special attack, that's pretty good for it, but it's also a Grass-type Pokemon, you know. I guess you could use the Chlorophyll ability on this thing, or Solar Power, to give it a bit more, you know, a little bit more of a chance in the competitive scene, but it doesn't really do anything, let's be honest. We all laugh about Sunkern, and we all laugh about Sunflora as well, just of how purely bad this Pokemon is, so it was always going to make this list, like, why wouldn't it? Which is why Sunflora for me is the worst Grass-type Pokemon. Coming up next, we have the ground type, and for me, the worst ground type Pokemon is Wormadam with the Sandy Cloak. I mean, Wormadam is just one of the most hated Pokemon throughout. It's tragic. I don't like it. I think it's terrible. It annoys me that it's got 3 forms, but it's 36 speed, 60 HP, 59 special attack. You know, its only real stat is 105 in physical defense, but this thing is just so bad. It has an awful move pool. It just sits there. It really doesn't do anything. Like, the only good thing coming out of Burmy is Mothim, and that's only the male ones. The females just don't really get a good end of the, good end of the deal at all, which is why I think the worst ground type Pokemon is the Sandy Cloak Wormadam. Coming up next, we have the Ice-type Pokemon, and the worst Ice-type Pokemon for me has to be Delibird. I love Delibird. It's the most Christmassy Pokemon out there, but that doesn't mean it's a good Pokemon. With a stat total of only 330 with 45 HP, 55 physical attack, 45 physical defense, 65 special attack, 45 special defense, and 75 speed, it's just not helping it out. It only gets Present and Drill Peck through leveling up, and it only gets Drill Peck at level 25, so you're there with Present for a long time. Of course, you can breed it. It gets a really low... To be fair, it gets quite a few nice egg moves, like Fake Out, Future Sight, Ice Ball, Ice Punch, Ice Shard, Destiny Bond, loads of cool moves there. I mean, it gets Splash through a level egg move. It even gets Spike as an egg move, which is awesome. But only those 2 level up moves, it's not great, but... that's all I'm saying about it. It's just not a good Ice-type Pokemon. It gets outclassed by so many other Ice types, which is why, Delibird has to be the worst Ice-type Pokemon. Coming up next, we have the normal type Pokemon, and for me, it has to be Farfetch'd. And I bet a lot of you guys, when we was on the flying type one, everyone was like, what about Farfetch'd? Hang about, why is Farfetch'd not on this list? Well, Farfetch'd is also a dual type normal and flying, which is why it's the worst normal type. I mean, it's better than Combee anyway, let's be honest, but it is also a normal type, which is why it makes this list. We all make the fun in games about Farfetch'd just not being able to evolve. It's always stuck in this state, which is just a troll, kind of like a meme, and it's never going to be more than that, let's be honest. We've all wanted it. It's been like 7 generations now. If it wasn't going to happen already, it's not going to happen, which is why Farfetch'd is the worst normal type Pokemon. Coming up next, we have the Poison type Pokemon. For me, the worst Poison type has to be Ariados. Again, this is another big opinion. A lot of you guys will disagree with me, but Ariados is a very slow Pokemon. It's not the bulkiest either, so it's going to get hit before it does anything. It does get nice moves, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. It gets the really nice, Sticky Web. It gets Cross Poison, Poison Jab. It gets Swords Dance. It gets Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch. It gets a couple of nice priority, but it's because of how slow it is. You're not really going to set up a Swords Dance, It is weak to Fire, Flying, Psychic, and Rock, and with only 17 in physical and special defense, it's not going to be taking a hit, which is why I believe Ariados is the worst Poison type Pokemon. Next up, we have the Psychic type Pokemon, and it has to be Unknown, guys. Unknown has to take the crown. It's just another one of those Pokemon that's just kind of just created for a gimmick. It's never really served any purpose apart from being the alphabet. It doesn't evolve into anything. It only gets hidden power. It has an ability to levitate. It's only got a stat total of 336. Do I need to say any more, guys? Like, really, it's just so bad. The only good thing about it is just, like I say, the alphabet. That's really all it's got going for it. It doesn't even have a Psychic type move unless you have hidden power Psychic. So I feel like this doesn't really, do anything, which is why it is the worst Psychic type Pokemon in my opinion. Coming up next, we have the Rock-type Pokemon, and for me, the worst Rock-type Pokemon has to be Corsola. Now, Corsola does get some nice abilities in Hustle, Natural Cure, and Regenerator, and it isn't quite bulky as well with 95 in physical and special defense. However, with only 35 speed, 65 special attack, and 55 physical attack, it's not doing any damage at all anytime soon, and it doesn't really, like I say, do anything. It's so slow. It's just not a good Pokemon. There's so many better rock types out there. I love Corsola. Corsola could have got an evolution or a Mega Evolution or something like that, or an Alolan form either, but it didn't, which is why Corsola is one of the worst Pokemon. Well, the worst rock type anyway. Not one of the worst. I'm not going to put him in that boat with all those, but he's definitely the worst rock type, which is why it makes a spot on today's video. Coming up next, we have the worst Steel type Pokemon, and guess who's back again? It ain't Slim Shady, it is Wormadam, the Trash Coke. Again, the same rules apply from the worst ground type to the worst steel type. Wormadam is just, it's in the name, Trash Cloak. It's trash. It's literally trash. It doesn't do anything. It's awful. Yes, Steel and Book is a nice typing. It's only weak to fire, which is obviously 4 times weak to it. But again, that's not going to get you anywhere when you're just a tragic Pokemon and you're trash. Literally awful. I don't like Wormadam. Get it off my screen. Wormadam is the worst Steel type Pokemon, hands down. Next up, we got the worst Water-type Pokemon, and for me, it has to be Luvdisc. Luvdisc just doesn't get any love. It's kind of ironic because it is the love Pokemon, but it doesn't get any love from anyone. With a stat total of only 330, 30 physical attack, 40 special attacks, not doing any damage. It only has 55 physical defense and 65 special defense. The only thing it has is speed, which is 97. Should have evolved into a Lomomola, but it didn't, which is why this Pokemon is never going to see any ground weight in the competitive scene, and that is why I think it is the worst water type. Finishing things off though, we have the newest type to the competitive scene being Fairy type, and the worst Fairy type Pokemon for me has to be Dedenne. Dedenne is one of the cutest Pokemon out there, one of the cutest Pikachu clones, but that doesn't mean it is a great Pokemon. It gets some okay moves, it's just only got a stat total of 431. It's a very fast Pokemon with 101 speed and 81 special attack, but this thing cannot take a hit with 57 physical defense and 67 special defense. It's just not happening. And I like Dedenne, but it's just not got anything going for it, which is why I believe it is the worst Fairy type Pokemon in the competitive scene. But with that, it does wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you did enjoy the video though, please do leave a like. I would really appreciate it. Like I said at the start of the video, I would love to hear about your guys' opinions on this video, what you think of the worst type of every Pokemon is. I would like to know, because it's a very opinionated video. I'm going to get a lot of hate, I'm going to get a lot of love, I'm pretty sure, but, we'll have to see what everyone says. However though, if you did enjoy, please do remember to leave a like down below, and I do also have a couple top 5s coming onto your screen in a second, so be sure to give them a watch if you do have the time, and also subscribe if you do enjoy this video. That is everything from me though, but thank you so much for watching guys. Have an amazing rest of your day, and until next time guys, peace.